If you look at a standard history book or an old map of the British Empire in India, you will usually hear the same story. The British arrived, defeated the mighty Mughals, and took over the subcontinent. But by 1818, when British control became absolute, the Mughal emperors had been reduced to figureheads with virtually no real power. To actually conquer India, the British had to fight 3 brutal wars against a completely different, massive native superpower. That power was the Marathas. They were native to the Deccan Plateau, centered in present-day Maharashtra. Long before they built an army, these people built a deep cultural unity. Saints from the Bhakti, or devotional, movement translated sacred texts like the Bhagavad Gita into Marathi, the language of the common people. That shared cultural and spiritual foundation gave this regional group the cohesion needed to organize, mobilize, and step directly into the massive power vacuum left by the collapsing Mughals. The architect of this rise was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, born in 1630. He was driven by a single clear vision, Swarajya, which meant self-rule by Indians. Shivaji knew his forces could not survive open combat against massive imperial armies, so he turned the rugged geography of Maharashtra into his primary weapon. Intrigued, starting when he was just 16 years old, he began capturing and fortifying a network of mountain forts. These highly elevated strongholds controlled the trade routes and provided safe shelter for his troops. He perfected guerrilla warfare. Instead of large formations, his men operated in small groups, relying on their deep knowledge of the local forests to attack suddenly and disappear quickly. When an opposing general named Afzal Khan was sent to crush him, Shivaji agreed to a meeting. He wore concealed tiger claws, known as wagnok, and assassinated the general, triggering an ambush that routed the enemy army. During another campaign, he led a daring night raid straight into the camp of the Mughal general Shaista Khan. The general barely escaped with his life, losing his fingers in the chaos. Even when Emperor Aurangzeb placed him under house arrest in Agra, Shivaji managed to escape by smuggling himself out in baskets meant for fruit and sweets. Through these calculated asymmetric strikes, Shivaji proved that geographical mastery and tactical surprise could humble massive empires, officially putting Maratha power on the map. By 1674, Shivaji was officially crowned at Raigad Fort. He transitioned from a guerrilla leader to a sovereign monarch. He immediately set to work building a highly centralized state. He established the Ashta Pradhan, a council of 8 specialized ministers to handle everything from finance to justice. To ensure absolute loyalty and efficiency, he stripped away hereditary government posts. Officials were instead paid a direct salary from the state treasury. He also invested heavily in an active naval navy. He built massive sea forts and armed warships to protect the west coast from foreign traders. By controlling the sea routes, the Marathas were able to directly challenge European naval monopolies. They evolved from a land-bound rebellion into a fully functioning, multi-domain sovereign state. After Shivaji's death, the Mughal Empire pushed back brutally. Yet the Marathas survived, kept alive by resilient successors like Queen Tarabai. Soon, command shifted to the Peshwas, or prime ministers. Under their leadership, the Maritime military machine exploded outward across the subcontinent. The economic engine funding this rapid expansion was a unique tax system called Chauth. They demanded 25% of tax revenue from outside territories, offering military protection and local autonomy in exchange. Armed with this revenue, the Marathas pushed deep into the north, conquering distant regions like Delhi, Punjab, and Peshawar. This combination of the Chauth revenue model and relentless cavalry expansion allowed the Marathas to financially and militarily suffocate what was left of the Mughal Empire. The empire's momentum finally broke in 1761, when they suffered a devastating loss to Afghan forces at the Third Battle of Panipat. Though they recovered territory after Panipat, internal disunity among powerful chiefs weakened the state. Eventually, superior British military technology and organization proved too much, and Maratha power officially fell in 1818. But their impact outlasted their borders. They spent decades rebuilding regional temples, promoting the study of Sanskrit, and standardizing the Devanagari script. When we look closely at this timeline, it becomes clear that the Marathas were the definitive bridge between the era of the Mughals and the era of the British Raj. The map of British India was not drawn over the ashes of the Mughal Empire. It was drawn over the formidable, fiercely independent subcontinent built by Chhatrapati Shivaji and the Marathas.